Good morning. 1 hour's worth of good morning. I just finished my notes. If you saw my notes just right there, then yes. I also made a special extra note to not say those repeat words. So, and then, and, but not so much not say them, but at least spread them out a bit more. So I'm not saying them in almost every other sentence. I have been rewatching some of my videos, and it's very grating for me, especially when I don't notice me repeating the words until I rewind back or I go look back to the videos, and it's quite frequent. I will try my best to not say them. Please don't make this a drinking game. I cannot emphasize that enough. It sounds funny until you're on the floor. Okay. Now, if you see the title, I have a few things I want to talk about. But before that, I need to figure out what the heck I'm going to do. I have my old cards. Not all of them. And camera, why? Why must we fight over who has to be blurry? Because I can't be blurry today. I never want to be blurry, but my camera decides to, you know what? Let's be a little blurry. Stop it. So I have these cards. Oh, there we go. And I want to do easy ones because the one I started was super complicated, and I do not like spending too long on the cards. They are not meant to be perfect, precise, super accurate pieces of wall art. Note, like, look how small this is. The other thing is, I sometimes lean towards things I like, and this is what I like. The problem is this takes too dang long, and I get distracted, especially when I've had periods of time where I haven't been doing art consistently. Plus, I've been having a lot of jet lag. It's really bad. I would be sleepy like 2-3 p.m. I would fall asleep around 6-7 a.m. and I have to be up at 8 because I have to help make breakfast and crap. It's really, it's kind of bad. I mean, I had this problem when I moved back in 2014, and I've been living in China for over 3 years, but first, I guess because I haven't been there for a long while and my body's getting old, therefore, guess what? You're going to be up from midnight to 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Who knows? Your body won't tell you. Wow. It's been 3 minutes. I need to start on something. Another thing I started on, because if you also see in the title, I mentioned Nezha. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. I think people here keep calling him Nezha, but in the English dubs, and I saw in at least 2 movies, they keep saying Nezha. I don't know. I'm just going to say Nezha for now because I'm trying to correct the pronunciation, but maybe I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry. I apologize. So I have Albing and Nezha side by side, but I was trying to fix his eye to make it a little bit different from the reference, but it's not looking good, so I might have to fix this eye. The other thing is, you don't have to necessarily put them together. The promo pics say something else, but I do like how the blue's turning out. I thought that was kind of cool. There was a lot more details here, but let's start painting. Dang it, let's pick something. Find a reference, and before I begin, I do have something. I did try to jumpstart my motivation to do art, but it's not doing so well because afterwards I'm tired and I don't want to do it, and the jet lag hits me. So one of the things I did was I did something impromptu for Reels. It's this guy here. Oh my gosh, Hangyodan. This was originally from, I'm trying to think. I found it on YouTube. No, sorry, not YouTube. On Pinterest. Like, the eyes are all weird and detailed where the rest, but it was not as shadowed or has like lighting and shadow. So I added a little bit, not too much. But actually, I was trying to test out these what are these? Like these gel crayon things. They're not too bad, but if you want certain colors like Hangyodan's Aqua, you have to mix them together. And it was okay. I did get the accurate color. However, I had to do extra work, like making sure they actually go together. I took a risk and tried without testing it, and it turned out pretty good. The only other thing is sometimes the stuff comes off, like these little flecks here. I know you're supposed to like scrape them or something, but I also worry I'm going to scrape off the extra color, so I just left it alone. So you see bits and pieces throughout the drawing. I don't like too much, but it does have like a colored little kid look to it. Yeah. The other one I started was, I haven't used colored pencils in a while, and I really like these pastel ones. The problem is sometimes when you use colored pencils, it takes even longer than this stuff. At least there's some bright, vibrant colors on here. But this stuff, you have to like really press down. But I wasn't going for that. I was just doing a quick sketch of like the Lulu the Piggy bear series, one of the bear series anyway. And I just thought this was really cute. But this original reference was in brown, like a typical brown bear. And I just wanted a pastel tie-dye version. It's ridiculously cute. And whatever the reason, later I drew this the night when I still had my jet lag. No, in the morning, I remembered. And then I bought one of these. I lost my dang marbles. It's freaking cute. The funny thing is, it's another white rabbit. I got this one in Miniso in China, a knockoff version. Like, they have their own pig brand, but you can clearly see how different these two are. Like, this one is a lot more put together, a lot more, I don't know about detailed, but it looks a lot more like they took better attention to detail with this one. This was kind of slapped on there, but it has some appeal. Funny enough, even though you can't tell the white here, this one is a bit of a slightly cream / off-white color, whereas this one is a more, I don't know about pure white, but it's definitely whiter than this. I like this white than this one, but this one looks a little scraggly. But for sure, if I was going to choose which one I'd use out in the open, it'd most likely be this one, because I like this one more. But it grew on me. I had it for a time, maybe like a few weeks. It's still cute, so I will keep both. Okay, let's work on something. It's already set, almost 8 minutes, you fool. Let's work on something. And where's my notes? So how you guys been? We did have July 5. I know it's July 4th, but some of our family members were out of town and they didn't come back till July 4th. So we had to put off our celebration on July 5th. That's why I was able to do the live stream on Friday, because some of us were not here at the time. And then July 5th / 4th, the Saturday, it was actually pretty nice. I avoided karaoke singing because there's a stereotype amongst Filipinos and some Filipino Americans that we are like we dominate karaoke. All of us are incredible singers. No, we're not. There are some of us who don't want to sing. There are some of us who can't sing, but we enjoy having fun singing, and some of the family members or friends laughing at us, and we just have a good time. But we do not always have everyone is a singer. As for me, I can hold a tune, but I because I don't talk a lot, my voice gets kind of sore easily, and I don't like it. So I end up just avoiding it. Maybe around friends, I will sing, but I haven't done that in a long time because all of us like lost contact with each other. So I'm spreading out my shows now, so it's fine. I haven't really gotten together with them. They all have lives. They also moved to another part of the Bay Area. It's a whole other. So technically, when I say I don't have friends right now in real life, I'm not lying. It's not a joke. And I think that's kind of sad. At the same time, though, it's not surprising, especially when I've seen before on YouTube and general testimonies of people my age and older, even some younger in their early to mid 20s, that making friends is a lot harder. But no, making friends is a bit easy sometimes. It depends on your situation. But maintaining the friendship, especially as you get older, gets more difficult as you age. And it is. It's sad. It's messed up, but that's how life goes sometimes. And if you really want to have, keep that friendship, both of you have to commit. It's not just one person. Though one person may more often than not reach out more than the other person. I'm the other person. But I will talk back because I also don't like to bother people. I think that's the downside of being by your always alone doing your own thing. You worry about bothering other people, and sometimes you are, but they're too nice to tell you. Like, are you sure? Let me know, because I will be sad, but at least you let me know, and I will just back off a bit. But sometimes they're too nice and they won't say anything. But it depends. Some of them actually don't mind your company. As long as your company's nice and friendly and fun and all that good stuff, and not really like draining everyone's soul and just the general wet blanket. Who likes a wet blanket? I don't even like wet socks. Okay, I found one of them. Sorry, I was watching YouTube and then I screen cap while I look for my references because I wanted to test out the colors. Oh gosh, okay, so there's a lot of black. Good to know. And okay. So I'm going to be painting black a lot apparently, and I'm not sure if that's going to work well. And if it doesn't work well, I can always paint over it, which is what I've been always do when I don't like how things are turning out. But I need some level of line art, otherwise I don't know where I'm painting and it looks messed up and all that not so great stuff. All right, so the first parts I can talk about Forbidden City in Shenyang. I didn't know there was another Forbidden City until I lived in China. I just know about the Forbidden City in Beijing. That's the globally known one. But I don't know if other people knew, but I definitely did not know about another Forbidden City that was originally from Shenyang in Liaoning province. Due to the Qing dynasty, and they established their capital there until they moved. Don't ask me what the time, because I know they did talk about when they moved from Shenyang to Beijing, but my memory's trash. I'm sorry. I'm not good with memories and numbers. But they did have the Forbidden City in Shenyang for a time, and it's not as big as a Forbidden City in Beijing. I've been to the one in Beijing, and that place is crazy huge, but the Shenyang Forbidden City is still huge in its own right, just not as big as the one in Beijing. That's what I'm trying to say. I learned way more than I expected, even though I've been there at least 2 or 3 times prior. But this time I was especially hooked on the architecture, like the structural components that they made the building, the wooden parts of the buildings put together. And it's not just wood. They also have different layers of different kinds of concrete and building material inside the pillars. They would show the different layers and how much they use. And if they go wrong, it's gonna collapse. They're trying not to do that. They want it to last forever. So they even shown that on display. I was like, what? And then the paints that they used back then, like now, it's still kind of like faded. It eroded over time because the elements, obviously. But when they can recreate the original painting and how the paints that they use for the Forbidden City, and it's insanely vibrant and so pretty. Like, I could only imagine what the hell that looked like when the paint was freshly made and dried, and it must have been really gorgeous to see in person back then. I did post this morning some of the displays from the Shenyang exhibit in the Forbidden City there. And even looking at those pictures, I was like, my God, those colors are so gorgeous. Even though they did not have like a huge array of colors like this kind of stuff or whatever, but they only had like 4 colors. I think like a golden yellow, like a viridian green, cerulean, bright blue, and crimson bright red or orangey red. And you can mix all the colors to other things to your liking. And it was just, oh my gosh, I was just geeking out like that. How did they do all that stuff? And they didn't have all the modern technology, extra vibrant colors, or, like how it is now at the same time. I was just staring at that for a good while. Just like, how the heck do they come up with this stuff? Then they had the replica blueprints of the Forbidden City, as well as how they made the structural wooden components of the buildings and palaces. Like, what the heck? It's so intricate. It's so complicated. And this was during the Qing Dynasty. I was just mind blown. Freaking mind blown. I know I could have seen it when I was also in the Beijing Forbidden City, but I think I was just trying to adjust and I was also overwhelmed with everything huge in China, whereas now I have a bit more of an awareness, and now I'm trying to get back into my art stuff. And then I realized, my God, my art sucks compared to what they've been doing all this time. At the same time, I'm not saying depressed, but I'm not as dejected or disappointed at my skill compared to the greats back in the Qing Dynasty, and if not in Chinese culture and history in general. At the same time, though, it does humble you, like, oh my gosh, they did all that stuff. How did they come up with that stuff? And I'm just copying and making fan art for the heck of it. Meanwhile, these guys make literal blueprints of their cities and intricate detailed paintings on the pillars and the woodwork, and they also do sculpting and crafting and poetry and so many other things. And yet it doesn't make me like, screw it, I don't want to do any more art. Why bother? It just makes me want to try a little bit harder. I'm not going to make my own Forbidden City. No way. I'm not that smart at all. But at the same time, I want to try to expand on my skill set a little bit more. As to what kind of skill set, I don't know yet. We'll find out soon, because I don't know. I need to jumpstart back into my art routine, or my motive. I need to reclaim my motivation to draw again or paint again, because what has been getting me lately is the jet lag. I wish I was joking. It's like, I think I didn't fall asleep till about 6 in the morning, and I woke up at 7:55. That's how bad it is. And then when I try to go back to sleep, I can't sleep. And then I have to do things, and then suddenly I'm freaking tired. Like, when it was kind of bad last week, I was a little bit disoriented because I need sleep. But then sometimes my body's not used to it. I'm used to the Chinese time. It's trying to revert back to my old biological sleeping clock here. It ain't working. I do try to take some naps to kind of ease it in, but it's also not helping too much, I think. I should try to just do the regular schedule. But my body don't want to sleep. I'll figure something out, because I have an appointment next week, and I need to not be loopy and sleep deprived when I go to the appointment. Hopefully by then it should be a lot better. I hope. I'll figure something out. I also need to make a phone call. I hate that registration stuff. Like, oh, you need to do this so you're not taking too long at the desk. Like, okay, fine. I have to look for my paperwork, though. Ugh. Sorry, I make weird noises like, ugh, ugh. I don't like using words sometimes when I'm frustrated. Okay, let's. I thought I would be interested with this ghost mask thing, because fun fact, I dressed up as this character before the movie existed. That's how old I am. And I was in 3rd grade. I remember it because that was probably the only time I was invited to a Halloween party, and I dressed up as this, and I was the only girl that was dressed up scary. But we didn't know that this person would later on end up being like a murderer in a movie. Okay, a movie, YouTube, a movie. I'm talking about a movie. So I didn't know that you have to bring, like a sharp knife to, I mean, it's a toy. It's a prop. So I didn't even know what kind of, like, they just had this mask and that was it. And then I think a year after or so, they had this character, I mean, the bad guy dressed up with this mask in Scream. And I was like, hey, I dressed up like that as that person. What the heck? It was so weird and kind of funny. But then I didn't really dress up after, like that. I don't even know if I still have that mask. I think I got a cheap plasticky version later on when I was in China just for shits and giggles. But then I don't really, I don't take Halloween that seriously anymore. And I like doing Halloween crafts and decorations and Halloween theme art. I don't mind that. But then when it comes to like hardcore decorating the house, I don't do that. Especially if it involves a stepladder. I'm not anything that involves a stepladder. I'm like, okay, someone else do it, please. I already did the art. Oh gosh. And I think I need to do another kind of method of painting these cards because I have so many now. I'm thinking one method is to just use the same color on different cards just because I have too many cards to focus on. Therefore, I need to spread out the color a little bit more, not just focus on one card. I can also do the whole tape the cards together like this one, but I don't do that too often. I've yet to find things. It has to be like a really cool drawing that I need to put together, like a little puzzle, not a real intricate puzzle, just like 2 cards, 3 cards, 4 cards together. Just lately, because of this jet lag, it's hard for me to concentrate, and I also have to take care of things at home and catch up on things and errands. And then I'm sleepy. So it hasn't been a nice combination these days. Even now I'm like, okay, but I came on here on time. Yay. Anything I can color that's black. I think this one. The only problem is when I do this, I only picked cards. I didn't do an order. So I just picked out from different orders. Now I'm like, okay, which one came first? I'm starting to forget. That's another downside about doing all the cards at once, unless I number them or label them. But I'm also, the downsides of laziness is you forget. And then when you realize, oh, I should have done that, and I didn't do it. Or it was too late for me to realize now my order is all messed up. So there is that. Yeah, try not to say my stock filler repeat words is a lot harder than I thought. But I think if I spread out the words a bit more, then it's not as noticeable. To me anyway. I don't know about you guys, but I rewatch my videos 2, 3, sometimes 4 or more times just to see how I sound like. It's kind of a training for me because originally, fun fact, I hated hearing my own voice on video, on recording. It just never, I never liked my voice. Even now, I think I can tolerate it and, okay, this is my voice, get over it. That's one aspect of it. The other thing is I still don't like my voice, but I'm more used to it now because I've been doing this talking stuff for about 2 years. So it's not too bad. And then when I sometimes used to go on Threads, remember I got rid of that thing. I uninstalled. I would see people wanting to try to branch out more with their art. They're trying to figure out, how do I increase my numbers and followers and blah, blah, blah. And I did remember suggesting to one of them, you can go on YouTube. I get a lot more traction there than on Instagram. But then one of the first things he said was, oh, I never see myself do YouTube. It's too nerve-wracking. It's a lot of extra work. Yeah, it is. But I think if you figure out a method that works best for you, it should be fine. But you also have to want to do it. And I do want to do YouTube, of course. It's just the other thing was video editing is never my friend. I don't care. I hate it. I still hate it now. I've yet to figure out, how do I trick my brain into doing more YouTube videos, because I'm not very good at it. I mean, I can do it, but I have to keep looking at the same thing over and over. And I just do this art stuff. It's very similar to doing art, but it's another form of art that I'm not used to, and I don't like it. Because just because you're an artist doesn't mean you have to like everything that is art related. And video editing, it is an art, I believe. However, that doesn't mean I have to like it, especially the ongoing process. I think if you were loving making videos since you were a little kid, I think you have an edge of doing that sort of thing. Me, I only did it to make crappy music videos and make fun of family members for the hell of it, and then that's it. Otherwise, I didn't even think I would do anything related to YouTube, because, like I mentioned, I hated my voice. I didn't want to do it. And so the probability of me doing YouTube videos, like, say, 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh, hell no. I'd rather just watch the stuff than actually do the stuff. There's always complaints about YouTubers burning out after a time, especially if they're very popular and well sought after. I didn't want to end up like that. Now I'm on YouTube. What is this? Make it make sense, woman. I don't know. Well, I try to do it within my capability. That's why I don't do the whole content make the whole video, the actual videos. If I start doing that, and it's not like I haven't tried. I did before, my earliest videos. Oh my God, it's just something about it. I don't. Plus, I know on YouTube you have to act a certain way in order to garner more attention, and I don't like doing that. They keep saying if you do that, you'll get more people to like. I don't like treating people like idiots sometimes. I'm not saying people on YouTube do that, but it's like putting on an act, and I don't like doing that. I just want to be myself, and for me to change myself in order to garner attention from other people, to attract more attention, which is probably what stabs me in the foot. I just don't like doing that stuff. If you want to do that, hey, go ahead. You're better than me in that aspect, because you're more marketable. I am not very good at such things. And I don't like forcing myself to do things I'm uncomfortable with, or it will show on the camera that I'm forcing myself to make you like me, and I don't want to do that. I want to be present and like what I'm doing. Otherwise, why even bother doing it, If it's for work, that's a whole other story. You have no choice. You got to do it. But sometimes if your followers do understand, like, oh, that is a lot of hard work, you got to take care of yourself first. Then you have a really solid audience for you. This wasn't what I was supposed to talk about. Oh, also in the Forbidden City in Shenyang, you can have the option of dressing up as if you're royalty. I guess you can dress up as a concubine, but they also have the emperor, the empress, a child emperor, which was super cute. I wanted my son to do that. He did not want to. He is very vocal about not wanting to do certain things. Dressing up as the Qing Dynasty emperor was included. I was so, not mortified, but I was quite sad. I was like, oh, we came all this way and he doesn't want to do it. And then I also wanted, like, okay, fine, you don't want to dress up, I'll dress up. But then they charge super extra. The other problem is we didn't see any places where they have the simple Qing Dynasty outfits in the building. They only have it outside, and you have to walk into the Forbidden City to take pictures. And then they also may have you wear makeup, which I thought was kind of cool, but I don't think that makeup suits me. I'm not very light skinned. Even though it kind of does, I'm not. I also worry I might not fit some of the clothes, but there were some women bigger than me, so I think I should, but I just worry when you get into bigger sizes, you don't have the cuter things or the nicer color prints. You tend to get the ones that don't look so cute. So my motivation kind of dwindled over time when I wanted to try the clothes. I did try clothes, traditional costumes, but it wasn't the Qing Dynasty clothes or traditional Chinese clothes. It was, funny enough, Korean traditional, I think hanbok. I don't know how to pronounce it, but their traditional dress. It almost didn't fit me, even though it can fit a lot of people. It was not. It was barely my size. Maybe I should have got the purple one the lady suggested. Maybe that was bigger. I just picked the blue one and took pictures by the Yalu River in Dandong City. Anyway, that was pretty interesting, though. I still like doing that stuff, like, because I don't do that here. There's nothing to dress up here, and then people start taking videos and making fun of you on TikTok and stuff. I don't like that. I don't think I have that in China. So I'm a lot more comfortable trying different things when I'm in another country, at least. Whereas in the US, when you're worried, who's recording? Do I look fat? And they are starting to start doing the whole body shame stuff again. Like, what happened to body positivity? It's starting to die out, I think. There's a lot of people making fun of the chub, and I'm like, okay, it's back. Well, Y2K is rearing its ugly head, and this was one of them. Bless you, little chub. Okay, what else can I talk about? Oh, then yesterday, my husband was asking me, what's La Boo Boo? And I was like, what are you asking about that? I saw them in the Pop Mart stores in Shenyang, and they were not as sought after as these little micro documentaries are showcasing on YouTube about how in other foreign countries, they think they show like France, places I think in Paris and some parts of the US and other countries, that Labubus are so sought after. And what's the big deal? What is the craze? How is this weird little creature? Blow your nose, please. How is this little Labubu thingy so popular when things are so expensive nowadays? And then they mentioned it was because of South Korean pop idols from, I think, Blackpink. Two of them in particular were saying how they love Labubus, and they would try to get certain Labubus, and they received gifts of Labubus at some point. Boy, blow your nose, please. I already told you. Get tissue. Sorry. Sometimes they just let the nose sneeze, and I'm like, come on, just get tissue. There's nothing wrong with that. Are you getting your tissue? Okay, then. Because I'm not hearing nose blows. Yes, I was kind of bewildered as to how he learned about Labubus, because he does not care about such things. But I think what perked his interest was that some of these limited edition Labubus can be in the hundreds, if not maybe near thousands of dollars, and that kind of perked his ears. Like, what? Why are these things? Well, he thought they were kind of weird and stupid, as per usual when he finds things weird and stupid. Same time, though, the guy who created them, he's making bank, which was funny because when we went to Shenyang, they were not that popular. I mean, they existed, they're right there, but they were just treated like any other keychain. But outside of China, they're like sought after. People are waiting in line. And I checked that Pop Mart official website just for the heck of it, and all the Labubus are cleaned out. It's like, why do you even have them listed? Put them down when they run out. You don't have to say out of stock. We get it. It's not for sale. Just say, sorry, we ran out. That's it. Why do they have to showcase, oh, this one's gone, this is out of stock, all of these are out of stock? Like, yes, we get it, geez. So stupid. Oh, this is kind of cool. Gosh, this eye is bothering me. I'm gonna have to fix it later off camera because there's not enough time. And it was funny recording like a small clip of my husband just doing not extensive research, but he's just watching and trying to figure out what's the big deal about the Labubu craze. And it was just low-key funny to me. As for me, I think I'm going to give up and just buy one on eBay just because there's no way of me getting it online. They say just buy it online and pick it up at the store. They're all out of stock. You dork, who keeps making that suggestion? If it's out of stock, there's no chance of you getting it. So you're better off just getting it from a freaking reseller from eBay, even though, oh my gosh, they crank up the price like crazy. But some of them are pretty reasonable, not too bad. It's within, like, maybe they'll charge an extra $2-3. I don't mind those. The only other thing is I don't want to get something like a Hafufu or something, like a generic, super generic brand in the mail. But if the reviews of the seller is pretty good, I'll try it, but not now, because my number one sought after thing is this guy here, or at least the Lulu the Piggy series. That is, I'm surprised that that's not popular, but I don't mind. Don't stay not popular. Don't like pigs. More for me. Okay, I need to, this is pretty cool. I need to let it dry a bit. But the Albing's eye, I need to fix. It's looking kind of lopsided now. I thought I was doing good, and I was wrong. I was wrong. Okay, which one? Maybe I'll do this one because it has yellow, and Pachaco likes yellow. They usually put him in aqua, but I think because he likes banana ice cream. Why do I know these things? I don't know, but well, it's easy. I'll give me the easy. So I'm doing something. Like at most, I just want a pastel boo boo, purple, blue. I don't know, or either or, and then that's it. I have to just throw in the towel because I already have Lulu the Piggy. That's the problem, the problem child. The rest, I don't care enough. Maybe like a pair of clothes, because I saw some purple outfits for Labubu's that I thought were kind of cute. But my God, they cost almost $20, and that's not even including the doll. I think that's insane. But again, I don't want to like, oh, I'm only gonna buy one, then I buy 50. No, it's not gonna be like that. Even if I do, it's like in a span of 2 or 3 years, not like in one major paycheck. No. Okay, so Nezha. This, I keep hearing about this, the Nezha 2 movie in China. I did hear about it before going to China, but my God, when I went there, that little boy is advertised everywhere. And it's not this okay looking version. It's like the one with the big mouth and the jagged teeth and the ginormous eyes and meatball head. I was like, ooh, what's that? Why is that? But it's crazy popular. And then I think 2 nights ago, I caved in. I was like, okay, fine. What's the big deal? But I didn't watch the second one. I watched the first one. They have that available on YouTube for free. And I was like, oh, okay. This is, thank you. And there was no commercials. Extra thank you. Sorry, I had to burp. Anyway, I watched the first one. It's pretty good. I was surprised. Of course, when I told the husband about it, he was like, you know what? I don't like Nezha originally. He's kind of a brat. And he's right. He is quite bratty, and he causes destruction wherever he goes. He doesn't care about other people's well-being when he causes trouble. In the movie, I don't know about the original story, but he seemed like a very troublesome kid because of his fate of absorbing one of, I think, the demon pearl of some other. And then because of everyone knowing his fate, I think in like 3 years he's supposed to die. I'm not sure. But he was already written off as like a demon child, a troublemaker, the pariah, the misfit. of the people. So his parents are always busy trying to save the towns, take care of the citizens and all that stuff. So they leave him alone, and he's always left by himself. He wants to make friends, but other people know who he is because he has that demon pearl thing inside him, so they keep him away from their children, thinking that he's going to bring harm and ill will and bad luck to their children. So they like, get him away, get away, demon child. And as I'm watching this, I realize it's eerily similar to Naruto. So I'm wondering, was Naruto inspired by Nezha? Because there are some similarities. There's also another, oh my god, there was another anime / manga that was inspired by the Journey to the West lore. I forgot the name. Soul something, or Hoshinengi. There you go, Hoshinengi. I forgot the English name, but the Japanese name counterpart was Hoshinengi. And there was a guy in there, or boy, named Nataku, I think, who is a almost carbon copy of Nezha, but he's more like wearing stone out, like the wheels on his feet are made out of stone, and he's super strong and kind of dead in the eyes because he's not really a normal child. But the original Nezha is more playful, and he wants to have fun, but he's always told not to cause trouble, and so he does anyway because screw that noise. But then I think at some point he realizes he wants to do good. He wants to be liked and acknowledged by the townspeople, and he tries to do good, but he's not very good at it. What was interesting about the story also was that someone pointed it out in the comments how in Disney stories or in Western stories, sometimes there's always a stark contrast between what's good and what's evil. And if you're bad, and you'll always be bad. But if you're good, you'll always have good things happen to you. But if you're bad and cause bad things, you'll get your karma, you'll get all the bad things that you deserve. And I was like, that's not always the case, especially in recent stories, but at the same time, there is always that general rule that if you're bad, you're bad. If you're good, you're good. There's no blurred line. There's no in between or certain circumstances. But what I've understood from these ancient Chinese stories is that a lot of these characters are originally bad, but they have to learn how to be good, or they want to be good, but because of past experiences or being written off as the bad guy, they end up like, if I'm going to be the bad guy, I might as well be. Let's do this. You don't want to believe in me unless I'm bad, so let's be bad. So they succumb to that the interpretation of these people, but then realize I don't feel good afterwards. What should I do to not feel like this anymore? And then they try to learn ways on how to be good, even though it's not easy. They fail a lot. Yeah, they also make mistakes, which was also interesting compared to like Disney stories, which I think honestly is a breath of fresh air. To see characters that are flawed, that have to deal with adversity and problems and being neglected or ignored or hated just because of who they are. And within reason, these are just normal people just trying to get on with life, and they don't want any trouble from these demons. Yeah, a lot of these characters tend to be demons. So it was really interesting to see how they come up with these stories about how to not just make yourself be good, but to learn from your mistakes. Like, maybe we shouldn't be destroying cities or towns. Maybe we should help these people get back on their feet. And then they destroy another 2 towns. But like, let's try again tomorrow. But at the same time, though, I wish I learned about these stories more when I was younger, but I'm not Chinese. I'm Filipino, so I didn't know. I heard of these stories, and I only originally heard of them as Japanese adaptations like Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Naruto, and the like. So better late than never, I suppose. Aw. I also wish my husband told me more about these stories in detail rather than just why I like it and why this sucks. It's like, please tell me why. But sometimes I think he can explain it more in Chinese because English is not his first language, so I'll give him a pass for that. And I have to find out for myself, which is hard because when you start watching it originally, you're not that interested. It's a lot harder than it sounds. But as you are tired of the current mainstream media here and you try to seek out other things, like me getting tired of the same crappy Disney movies, I'm sorry to say, but they're not the best. Like, what else is out there? And then you find out, oh, this is actually a pretty good story. Not bad. And these characters are not perfect. They're not always the good-hearted little princess that does no wrong. A lot of these characters are severely flawed and very mischievous and troublesome, and people don't like them. And you would think, oh, I don't want that. I don't want that person. Get away. Where's the good guy? But then turns out they are the good guy, just later on. So I was like, okay. I see what's going on, more or less, or for now. And so after the end of the movie, I was quite interested. Like, okay, now I want to watch a second one. But I think they stopped releasing it here, so I have to figure out, okay, when will they release it? I think this morning they mentioned they'll release an English dub of Nezha 2. So I was like, oh, okay, just not now. Also, reading subtitles is not the end-all be-all. But what I did watch was English dubs. And surprisingly, the voice acting was pretty good. Though the action parts, they could add a little bit more energy. But when they're talking, it's pretty decent. So not bad. And then I also found out they had other movies about other folklore, Chinese folklore, like I think Zhang Ziya, and then the White Snake, Nezha Reborn, like if they were reincarnated into another person some hundreds or if not thousands of years later. And it took place in steampunk China in a way, futuristic China, but they still have traditional clothes like the qipao and I was like, oh, okay. That's, but it's not like I didn't like it, but I was like, it's okay. I see what they're trying to get at, but it's okay. It wasn't, but I wanted to watch Nezha 2 for sure. I just need to figure out how to watch it since it's not available here right now again. Or it is, but Google sucks. It's also possible. Hold on for a second. Hey, can you lower that? I don't want copyright stuff on my thing. Okay, lower it, please. I don't know if that's copyright stuff because sometimes he listens to things that have copyright and it freaks me out. I don't like getting, you have blah, 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 blah warning on your YouTube channel. I don't want to hear that. Can I put still yellow on here? I don't know yet. See, this painting process is so slow. I know I should just record it and just put fast forward and then you get like a nice little video. But then with me, I'm always asked for help and I don't like being disrupted when I'm doing my art stuff. So sometimes I get easily distracted and don't do it for the rest of the night. Because I'm tired and I'm always, I'm cooking, cleaning, taking care of errands, and then I can sit down and paint. Then someone asks for help, and that disrupts my flow of wanting to make things. So I have to get up, take care of the thing, sit back down. Most of the time I will continue painting, but there are just times, especially recently with my stupid jet lag, I'm like, I'm gonna lie down. Or I'm gonna doom scroll on Insta. Anything but actually doing my freaking painting, and that sucks. I need to not do that, but I know me. Sooner or later, if I'm distracted enough, I don't want to do art stuff. That's why I've been feverishly making a whole bunch of art so I don't get into that art funk of not doing art things, because it's so easy for me the older I get. I realized it's hard. It's annoying to admit, but it's so easy for me to be lazy. That's why I'm almost always doing art every day. So I am not lazy. Of course, yeah, take a break. But if I take a break too long, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I'd rather just lie there and go blah than do more art sometimes, especially as I get older. But once I get back into the swing of things and find my own routine or revert back to the old routine, then it's not too bad. But I notice as I get older, I'm not as motivated to want to keep doing art all the time. Well, it's not a job for me, it's a hobby. So I'm not very like, oh, I have to keep making art. I have to like, it's more like, I could do it tomorrow. That's basically it. And they left. They left. I'm just kidding. Okay. Another thing when we did the trip thing was my husband and I was talking about he had like a compare and contrast between the people we encountered in China versus, I'm not saying all of China because China is ridiculously huge. I'm talking about where we were visiting, which was in Liaoning province. I'm not saying specific cities just because, yeah, but basically in Liaoning province, in the cities and small town we stayed at, and how the people treated us when we were there. Because originally, like I mentioned, we have not been in China for X amount of years, like about 6 years. So we were a little bit nervous, especially when we are fed the mainstream media about China, most of it bad. So we were a little bit worried about how we would be, especially our last experience in 2019 when we all got sick. So we were worried that, it might be like that. We got to be careful. And they're talking about, they're going to take away your passport. They're going to take away your green card. They're going to do this. They're going to give you a paper to waive your green card. Like, what? Or they're going to start looking at you weird because you are a U.S. citizen, but you don't look like the standard U.S. citizen. Like, what's that supposed to mean? But turns out it was a bunch of fear-mongering idiots that just want clickbait for you to start looking at their stupid posts so they can. Oh my God, I was so mad. When we showed up there, and they're super nice. They're super nice to us. What the fuck? They were super nice and sweethearts. They were, well, of course, you have to know Mandarin, so I was quiet most of the time. I'm not Chinese, but I could hear a few words, but then I'm so out of practice. But I can understand a lot more than when I first went to China. So I need some credit for that. A little bit of credit. The other thing was they were super helpful, like police officers, clerks at the station, complete strangers walking by and noticing our son being so pretty, and they will give out compliments and stuff, or they will tell them their life story about their mom looking kind of foreign because they have some relatives in another country here and there, and they would just go on talking, and I think my husband missed that so much because when we're here, while we live here, I think this is also partially our fault because we don't try to actively look for friends. Plus, it's a lot harder to find friends outside of your work area. And I don't work, but I don't know. I have some experiences with old friends I don't like. And so it's hard for me to want to get out of that funk ever. I don't think I ever got out of that funk of old friends. And so we notice that people here are not very friendly. But I don't think so. Like, we go out for Halloween with our son, and they're super nice and give out candy, and they talk to us a bit about our costumes. So I think my husband's not entirely right about his declaration of people not being nice and they're rude here. I think you have to put the effort. You have to show that you're nice too. Otherwise, they don't know you. They have the right to, like, I don't know you, get away from me. Plus, we're in the city. People are not too friendly in cities. I already know that. And while we are in the city in Shenyang, I think there are a lot more. Well, it depends. If you're in a major city, like in a train station, and it's like, and there's so many people, then yes, they're not going to be very friendly. At the same time, though, in where we're at, especially with our recent things going on, I don't want to touch into the politics, but it ain't going so well. And our monies are going somewhere else that shouldn't go, and we are not very happy about our circumstances. So we're not going to be very friendly. We're not going to be like, oh, happy go lucky. How's the glorious day today? No, we're probably going to be a bit pissed off. So it's within reason. It's not like we're openly pissed off for no reason at all, though there are people like that, but I think they need help for that. So for him, and to some degree me, to write off people as being unfriendly, I don't think that's entirely fair. We also have to take the risk and try to make friends as well. The other thing is everything's expensive. We're all trying to look out for ourselves, fend for ourselves. So it's within reason that we are not as friendly as other people outside as other people in other countries sometimes. So yeah, while that observation seems like, oh yeah, Americans are not as friendly as the people in China, well, let's not write off everyone, okay? There are nice people in America. There are nice people in China. There are messed up people in America. There are messed up people in China as well. We just are not in all those areas to verify all that. So I think sometimes when we travel new places, it's so easy to write off like, oh, these people are so nice and friendly. It's so easy to say that when you're on vacation. It's a whole other ballpark when, say, you live there and you're like, I'm tired of these places. I'm tired of these people. I'm tired of, like, let's go somewhere else. Then you go to a nice place or a nice vacation, and then people are super nice and friendly to you because you haven't been there for a while. And then you think, oh, maybe we should just live there instead. I don't want to do this. Like, I don't like that kind of mindset. Like, be careful. It's not all bad in this place. It's not all good in the other place. They have all their pros and cons, but at the same time, I can understand where my husband's coming from. It's not easy to make friends here, especially when you don't grow up with some of these people since childhood and you're not friends for a long time. And it's a lot harder to make friends, especially if you're at work. It's possible, but if you're not willing to want to make friends, then you're not going to make friends. And it's like I mentioned, I cannot emphasize how hard it is as an adult to make friends. Because at school, you have no choice. You're next to each other. Like, you eat boogers, I eat paste. We have similarities. Let's be friends. Okay, so I didn't do that, but just an example of how easy it is to make friends in a school setting versus at work where you're, at the desk and you're just doing your own thing. And the other thing is sometimes you have to be careful when you're at work. Some people will talk smack about you, or they'll try to be super nice and get dirt out of you when you are vulnerable. Like, yeah, that's the other thing about adults. You think that they grow out of that kind of habit? No. And then they get you in trouble with your superior, your boss, your supervisor. They can do that because you were talking a little too much sensitive info and your boss caught wind of that. So it's really, you can't just openly talk here when saying too much can get you in trouble, especially in the land of social media. People getting fired for saying ratchet stuff about their work when they're not supposed to. Like, you can have an opinion, just not within eavesdrop of your employers. Am I right? But the treatment in China when we were there, it was super nice. It was none of that stuff they were talking about the news, like, oh, it's a collapse. People are getting desperate and angry and taking all their rage onto the foreigners who have no idea what's really going on. But no, there are foreigners that live there all their lives, and they know more than we do. There are foreigners who choose to live there. That's fine. They have their reasons. They have the know-how. That's totally fine. I think sometimes with our media, they try to spin it so they don't travel to these places and find out it's not as bad as it's cracked up to be. And it works. You listen to it for a while, it freaking works. It sucks, and I hate it because I was duped. I believed it until I actually went to the country, and turns out it's not that bad as they were saying it was. There was not even COVID. Dang it. Then, yeah, it was really interesting to see such behaviors and then compare it to how we're being treated back home. I think one perk my husband loves about China is you don't pay tips. There's no such things as tips in China. Like maybe the super expensive places. Sorry, I'm going off camera. But one of the things that they don't do in China is no tips. And my husband loves it. Meanwhile, here, you kind of feel like you are obligated to give a tip because you are worried they're going to spit or pee in your food or put God knows what in your food. And they would take your food. They may take a bite out of your sandwich. They may throw your order on the doorway and run off, and they'll throw poo. Like, there are people with weird testimonies on TikTok and reels and stuff doing ratchet stuff because they didn't receive a high enough tip. Like, they'll give them a tip, but it's too low, and then they'll get crazy about it. Like, whoa, man, what's going on here? And they think this behavior is it's sound and within reason. I just think that's insane. Like, you're already getting money for the food, the services and stuff. Why do you need extra? But that's the stupid tipping culture here. It's gotten pretty awful. That's why my husband and I don't eat out as often. At most, we go to places where we know we don't have to give them tip and they won't cause us trouble. And we know a few, thankfully. And they're usually local places or Hawaiian barbecue chains. But yes, it's one thing I don't like about here is the tipping culture. It's so stupid. Other countries don't have it. Why do we have it? I don't understand. It's stupid. And it's not just food also. They say this into your just shopping. You're not even buying food. You're buying stuff. And like, would you like to give a tip? I was like, what tip for what? You didn't serve me food. What the fuck? So the extra greed is very apparent, and so people are not going to be very happy about such things. And then when you are you're out and about, the last thing you need is someone trying to ask money from you. Ugh. Oh, this is hella cute. I might add some extra color though. I don't know what color. Maybe pink? No, they use green, so I might just use a little bit of green. Oh, that's cute. I know the original reference uses all yellow, but I'm like, oh, let's put in some green. But very, very pastel, I think. Is that all I was going to talk about? I think so. Yeah, I talked about everything, I think. Yes. Okay, I'm just checking. Yay, I did it. Yay. So, what did we talk about today? My geek out at Shenyang, even though I've been there before, but earlier on I had no idea really what was going on. I know they have English, but at the time I was just trying to adjust with what's going on with my surroundings. But then when I visited this time, especially when I'm back to doing my art stuff, it was totally different for me, and I ended up geeking out on a whole bunch of the architecture and painting, the process, the blueprints, just the mechanisms of how everything comes together to make the Forbidden City. It was crazy amazing, and I couldn't believe that I was just not paying attention enough earlier on, but now I was like, what the heck? This is crazy amazing. I already also put a post about it on Instagram, but there's too many pictures and a few videos, so I may stretch it out into like 2 or 3 more parts. Like part 2, maybe part 3, I don't know yet. But there was definitely a lot going on during that day, and I tried to take as much pictures as I could. My poor camera was just on its last leg of saving of storage. My gosh, I need to clear out my phone too, by the way. I did, but it's such a slow process. It's annoying. Wesley. Sorry, I said his name. Hey, lower it. I don't want that song on there. No, I don't want copyright stuff on my live stream. You. Anyway. Then I talked about Labubu Craze and my husband stumbling upon them. I'd be laughing like hell if it turns out he started buying Labubus for investment purposes. Then also how Labubus became popular. It's basically pop idols and celebrities showcasing their keychains of Labubu, even though it doesn't make sense. Also, Crocs is the same origins resurgence of how Crocs became popular. Some celebrities were walking around in them, and people like, oh my god, I should wear that too. I was like, you don't have to. And then they're waiting in long lines for Crocs and Labubu's. I don't get it. And then the craze of Nezha and why the movie industry is crazy booming with their movies. And I took a try at watching them, and they're not bad. The character design is a little strange, but other than that, I liked it. I don't hate it. I heard the second one's a lot better than the first, so if I ever watch the second one, I hope it doesn't disappoint, and I heard it does not. So I'm definitely looking forward to that if I ever watch it. And then finding out that that same movie company made other movies of Chinese folklore, so I'm also trying to look into that as well. And even other movies. So yeah, it's nice to watch something away from the Western stories, because I'm so tired of Western stories. It's always the same thing, and now they're messing up the stories because they ran out of stories to tell. I'm pretty sure. So for me to seek out other stories outside the U.S., it's seriously a breath of fresh air. I don't have to worry about propaganda. I mean, every country has propaganda. Let's face it, but I don't have to worry about weird subliminal agendas and people forcing you to watch things you don't have to watch. It's like, what the heck? I didn't ask for this. What the heck? Like, really, really, really obvious sex scenes. It's like, you don't need that. What happened in the 90s where they just pan away when they go to the same bed and it's nighttime, and then the next day they're in a blanket? I miss those. It's like, I already know how that works. Why do I have to see that? Like, they show all of it sometimes. I'm like, oh gosh, what the heck? Like, I don't need to see that. Like, what does that have to do? Like, okay, yeah, they like each other a lot, and it's really noisy. But my God, like, we don't have to see that every freaking time. It's so, I think, geez, like just get on with the story. I don't need to see that. But that's just me, okay? What's that? I don't know what that is. Anyway, and then I was talking about the comparison and contrast between the locals where we lived in China versus how people are here, and we live in a city. And while my husband does not like how people treat us, not all the time, but he just feels like people are a little bit more closed off and rude and don't care about other people when asked for help. But I get it. At the same time, we have reasons, and sometimes you just gotta fend for yourself sometimes, especially when everything's expensive. Things feel like it's not making sense anymore and kind of stupid. And then the last thing we need is trying to navigate a person, figure out whether or not they actually want to be our friend, or they just want something like, what do you want from me? So, but hey, people, I don't mind people in small doses, but way too many people, like huge crowds, or or too many friends, I don't like that. Just a small amount, I don't mind. That's why I rather prefer a few friends rather than a mass of friends I barely even know. Yeah, but that's just me, as per usual. So I think I will continue these paintings. I got this and because I was talking too much, but it's okay. Oh, this was not too. I like the Nezha side. This side needs work, but I like the blue though. All right, so that'll be it for now. No one's hanging around to talk, and that's totally fine. I'm serious when I say I'm not crying. So yes, I can spread out my sews, and it's not so bad. And this is Delion signing on out. Have a great rest of your day and the rest of your week. And I'll see you again next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Take care now. Bye-bye. And thanks for watching.